Hello, my tarot loving friends. I hope you're doing well. This is just a short Q&A style video to answer a question that happened during one of my regular patron Q&As. So if you're not familiar with me, I am Angie from The Simple Tarot, and The Simple Tarot is all about helping you learn how to read the tarot cards so that you can then use them for personal care, self-development, creativity, fun, whatever you'd like. So I meet with patrons once a month and we chat for about an hour or two by a live video. They ask questions and I do my very best to give them answers. And this was a question that popped up recently and I thought it'd be fun to answer it sort of more publicly so you all could get the answer. So let's dive right in. So the question is, hey Angie, how do you do your own daily draw? This is fascinating. So if you're not familiar with what a daily draw is, it's a very common tarot practice where you basically shuffle your deck, pull out one card, or even just cut the deck and pull out one card, and that is your card of the day. And you do the daily draw and you ask the question something like, what type of energy do I need to know today? Or what can help me today? Or what can I expect to happen today? Just some similar generalized question about like that. You ask your card and then you carry that card with you throughout the day, either physically or just the idea of that card. And very often doing a daily draw goes hand in hand with the tarot journaling practice. So you might just journal and jot down a few ideas you have in the morning, and then you check those ideas again in the evening. It's a really good way to get familiar with your tarot card meanings and to see how those cards sort of play out with you throughout the entire day. Okay, so that's what a daily draw is. The question is, hey Angie, what's your own daily draw practice? And I'll say about 80% of the time during my morning routine, I wake pretty darn early and I have the house to myself for a couple hours on most days. So it's really a perfect time for doing like a morning meditation, journaling, reading, coffee, drinking time. So I do all of that. It's one of my primary self-care practices is to do this morning routine. And so during that morning routine, I will pick 1 to 3 cards as my daily draw. I used to do a daily draw, just a single card, but these days I've started to do 3, just because I like practicing finding that story. And I find that 3 cards really gives me a depth that a single card can't do. So I do this without a spread. I just do 3 cards and I do use my tarot journal. And I don't know, I write maybe a paragraph or 2, maybe, but rarely more about what I expect about the cards. And I do use the Simple Tarot deck when I'm doing this. This is the one that has the keywords printed right on the cards, because for me, this gives me the fastest and clearest tarot reading. And that might be because there's actually keywords on the cards, and it might be because I created the deck. So I have a really, really intimate relationship to it. It just reads really quickly for me and really clear and fast. So the questions I ask when I do my daily draw are usually, what's the energy of today? Or what do I need to know about today? Some sort of like early warning system. It really helps me feel really creative and expansive if I do this. If I ask, what do I need to know about today? And then I look at the cards and they sort of tell me. And then I look throughout the day for those things. And I usually find it. It's just fantastic. It helps me sort of stay on my toes creatively. And I love that. So for me, in an ideal day, my morning routine takes about 90 minutes. But to be honest, the tarot daily draw part is really only like 10 minutes of that. So I used to record my thoughts in my journal about the previous day's reading, to carry over like one day to the next. But these days I don't really journal about yesterday's reading. I just take a look at it and then I just think about it, because most of the time throughout the entire day, I'm carrying that reading in my head. So I just don't feel like I need to journal it in the evening or the next day. So I do in-depth tarot readings separately, and I always use my tarot journal. These are like when I have a real problem or want to creatively brainstorm something. Those usually take a couple hours. Like I go deep. That's totally different. I use a different deck and I take much longer. So my daily draw practice really is kind of like the center of my tarot life, but it's not the entirety of it. So maybe about a year ago, I actually really enjoyed doing my daily draw at the end of the day. So I wouldn't pull a card in the morning. Instead, I would do it right before I went to sleep or in the evening. And I would ask, what energies related to this card stood out today, the day that I just experienced. And that really helped me feel grounded. It wasn't as like expansive or creative as a feeling, but it really helped me see throughout the day where the card like played out. And it really helped me identify sort of like what was important about the day that I had just experienced. So if you're not really enjoying a morning daily draw, or you find it difficult for whatever reason, give it a shot to try your daily draw in the evening. I found it really fun. And sometimes I really think I'm going to go back to doing that. Just switch back and forth between mornings and evenings, depending on what time availability I have. I mean, just like everything else, I expect this practice is going to keep changing and growing as I keep growing and changing and learning. And as I need different things like out of my tarot practice, I'm sure it'll change. So right now, these days, my life and my tarot practice is all about maximizing pleasure and creativity. But I know that will change in the future, so I'm sure my tarot practice will change too. But I'm sure your tarot practice has changed over time, I'm guessing, right? But like right now, do you have a daily draw, and what is it? Like, how is it working for you? Let me know your response down in the comments. We all have such like different tarot practices, and I am super curious about how tarot is working in your life, especially on that day-to-day basis. So I'll be hanging out down in those comments, and I hope to see you there.